Does being sore actually mean you had a good workout? Sure. Let me gather my thoughts on this one. I get a little tired of hearing people say, you don't need to get sore. Soreness is not an indicator. For me, I feel like it is an indicator that you worked out hard enough. Now, do you need to be cripplingly sore after every workout? No, but I think you should feel a little something and know that you worked the muscle group. So I do think soreness is a good indicator that you worked out hard enough. I do not think you need to be sore to the point where you can't walk for days from a workout to say it was effective. I think you want to, as you train more regularly, your body should start to recover faster from your workouts, but you should still be getting a little bit sore for at least a day or two after your workouts. So I would say yes, I think soreness is a good thing, and I think it's one of those aspects that a lot of people think doesn't matter, but in my experience, I know when I'm a little bit sore after my workouts, I know I'm making progress and I am seeing results in the gym from that. I want to know if this is true or a myth. You have to bulk/eat more if you want to see gains. Currently, I'm not up to bulking up yet, but I don't want it to ruin my possibility of gaining muscle. I don't know what you're asking here or what this myth is, but technically you do need to be in a caloric surplus to gain muscle mass. However you want to look at that. I don't think you need to dirty bulk to gain muscle. You just need to be in a surplus of calories above what your maintenance calories are. Meaning, yes, eating more. I think one thing people try to get away with is, oh, I want to gain muscle, but I don't want to eat. You got to be able to eat and train hard. One without the other, you're not going to get the result. Too much cardio does kill your gains. This is the reason why cross-country and long-distance runners are tiny and lean. Well, cross-country runners are tiny and lean probably because they don't train with weights because they're running all the time. So I think people get a little crazy with being, oh, stay away from cardio, it's gonna kill your gains. Yeah, too much cardio is gonna kill your gains. It just really depends on your caloric output and how much energy you're expending throughout the day. But I think that the amount of cardio you can keep in your program and still keep your gains is higher than most people think. I work out a lot and have lots of muscle, and I think I am more buff than average, but I also have a lot of fat on top of the muscle. Ha ha ha. Okay, that's great. One thing you got to do is start to chip away at the body fat. So I would tell you to start gradually dieting down, keep your protein intake high, and as you start to get leaner, you'll actually see how much muscle mass you have. I think a lot of people tend to feel great when they're big and bulked up, and then when they cut down, they recognize that, oh, maybe I didn't have as much muscle mass as I thought. So, and by no means is a knock to you, but I'm just saying that start to diet down, and then you get a real picture of how much muscle mass you actually do have. Is training 6 days a week too much if I'm not a pro? I love lifting, but don't want to burn myself out or kill my gains from overtraining. Yeah, I think 6 days a week is too much, and I think a lot of pros probably don't need to be training 6 days a week either. My recommendation is I feel like 5 days a week is the sweet spot. 4 days a week can work too. So I'd say whatever works best with your schedule. I think you want to be cautious to make sure you're recovering enough from your workout and training intensely enough. I think a lot of people don't train hard enough, so make sure you're training intensely to get the result, and then you're going to really benefit from the extra recovery of those rest days. Just curious, what's the best way to strengthen your knees? Get your glutes stronger. Your knees hurt because your glutes are not firing, which also probably means your hip flexors are super tight, which are restricting hip extension and not allowing your glutes to fire. I would tell you to get a sew right, release your hip flexors, strengthen your glutes, put glutes in at the beginning of your workouts for legs, prioritize your glutes, and magically your knee pain will go away. Do I actually need protein powder, or is it just an expensive scam? Can I just eat enough protein from food and be fine? Technically, yeah, you can eat enough protein from food for sure. I think where protein shakes come in is situations where maybe you're looking for a fast absorbing, digesting protein, like post-workout, I think is a great time to have a protein shake. But the rest of the day, you're gonna have a better result by focusing on eating whole food protein sources. Abs help with your back and everything else so much. If I could go back in time, I'll do 10 minutes of abs every day. I would say your abs are important. I would say your transverse abdominals are more important for overall core strength and stabilizing of the spine. So what I would tell you is, yes, I would go back in time, sure, and I would add in more transverse abdominal work, anti-rotational abdominal work. I think that's gonna aid the back and strengthening your back, protecting your back, on top of also focusing on making sure your posterior chain is nice and strong and healthy. Shitty workouts. Instead of skipping the gym entirely on days you're not motivated, allow yourself to go there and do whatever you enjoy the most, even if it doesn't align with your workout program. This will help you maintain momentum. Well, I totally agree. I think that's a great idea. One of the most important keys, I feel like, to making progress is consistency. So whatever is going to get you in the gym and allow you to maintain consistency with working out regularly is going to be key. Secondarily, I would tell you that if you are not motivated to go to the gym on your current training program, you should change your training program so that you're doing things that you enjoy, because then you're going to be even more motivated to get after it and not have to plan an alternate workout of things you actually enjoy that are not in your program. I have a question. If I can only make it to the gym 3 times a week, 1 time midweek, 1 time Saturday, 1 time on Sunday, am I better off training full body work each time to build muscle, or train back and biceps one day, chest and triceps another day, and so on? That's a good question. I think what I would actually recommend would be, if you're training 3 days a week, best result would be to alternate upper body, lower body. You're gonna get a little bit more frequency on each muscle group doing it that way, and I feel like at a 3-day split, that's probably better. And then you're just alternating back and forth, so you don't have a set muscle group you're doing each of those 3 days. It's just alternating back and forth, upper body, lower body, and I think that frequency is gonna help you build muscle more than doing one muscle group a week. Unpopular opinion, machines are useless. If you're not touching free weights, you're basically wasting your time. I think there's a lot of people out there who are in this space of machines are useless, have not been training long enough, and have no mileage on their joints. Because if you have mileage on your joints, you're 100% going to use machines in conjunction with free weights. I just do not think long-term, for longevity, you can train with free weights forever and not run into issues. Now, again, it all depends on intensity. So if you're not training hard enough, sure, your free weights are going to be fine. You're not going to feel anything. But if you're trying to progressively overload, make progress in the gym, get stronger, gain muscle, you're going to have to layer in machines on top of the free weights for longevity. Anything from 3 to 50 reps will build muscle similarly, as long as you can push close to failure. 6 to 12 reps is a sweet spot for joint health and fatigue, though. Well, I think 6 to 12 reps could be the sweet spot. It really depends on the tempo in which you're lifting. I would say for joint health, 6 to 12 reps at or close to failure is probably going to put a lot of wear and tear on your joints. So that's where I would look at, if I am personally lifting in that 6 to 12 rep range, I'm controlling the negatives. I'm not banging out reps. I'm not maxing out. I'm trying to limit the load on my joints and put more tension on the muscles. So your 3 to 50 rep range, I think it also varies for muscle groups. For me, I find my legs actually respond better to higher reps. And if we're talking about joint health, my joints feel way better doing a back squat at or close to failure, 15 to 20 reps, than they do if I'm gonna go 6 to 8 reps. And I'm gonna get more growth doing higher reps. So I would say, don't be scared of higher reps. I would also say, don't put a number on what someone says, oh, 6 to 12 reps is the only thing. Experiment for yourself and you're gonna probably find different muscle groups respond better to different rep ranges. And then for longevity and joint health, control the speed of your reps, control the eccentrics of the reps, hold the peak contractions, and really focus on feeling the muscles work less than having the weight dictate how hard your muscles are working. Do you really have to confuse your muscles to make progress? Like people say, you don't need to change your workouts every week or so, your body doesn't adapt. Sounds fake to me. I don't know. Well, I would tell you this. Again, I'm going to talk about this from a longevity aspect. You're going to be bored out of your mind if you're not changing your workout. If you're just running the same workout over and over again, you're going to be bored to hell and you're going to lose motivation. So that's where I say, listen, change your workouts every 2 to 3 weeks. Even if it's just changing from a back squat to a front squat, just by changing something enough is going to give you a little bit more motivation, a little bit more excitement. It's kind of like you get new training shoes to the gym. You're going to be excited to put on those training shoes and get to the gym and wear them. If you're going to have a new training program, you're going to be excited to get into the gym and tackle that new training program. So I would say, as your motivation wanes from the current training program you're on, change your training program and you will continue to make progress. Bro who got a bicep vein, ... How? Is there seriously any hope for a skinny effer, 6 foot, and I just cannot get my bicep veins popping. I can't get vascular at all. Please help. I get this quite a bit where people are like, oh, how'd you get so vascular? You're not lean enough. By lean, I mean you're not skinny. I think you may be thinking you're skinny. Your body fat percentage may actually be higher than you think it is. So it's a matter of bringing your body fat percentage down lower so that the layer of skin between the muscle and the skin is thinner, and then you're gonna see the veins and the vascularity come through. One thing I will say is I have a bicep vein in one arm that goes straight down. The other arm, I don't have the same vein. So it could also be a genetic thing where maybe you don't have a bicep vein that looks like other people. So that could be it as well. How do actors get in shape so fast? Actors like Vin Diesel get in shape for movie roles, but sometimes when they aren't and they are out of shape, dad bods. And my question is, how do you go from being chubby to muscular six-pack in a short period of time? If I'm out of shape, wouldn't it take years upon years to get that big? Well, that's a loaded question right there. Well, I think it's twofold here. I think a lot of the people you're referring to were in shape at one point and got out of shape. So when you were in shape at one point and you got out of shape, it is easier to get back into shape. For someone like yourself, I think the slow and steady approach is great. I think you probably want to maybe focus on getting lean first, hit a desired body fat percentage, try to maintain that, and then start to add in some calories to gain muscle. And that may help you feel better about your self-esteem and have a little bit more confidence to then push a little harder and get even more results. But I think a lot of the people you're referring to were in shape at one point and muscle memory is great. And I think they're able to get into shape quickly because they just turn it on with the training, they turn it on with the diet and the nutrition and the cardio, and they flip that switch and their body's able to bounce back faster. How do guys in prison get big and muscular if they can only eat what they are given? And that's a good question. I have no idea. Couldn't begin to tell you. I don't know what they have access to in the prisons, so I got nothing. How do I build that big of a chest? Please give me your best tips. Thank you so much. For chest training, I think one thing I like to do is pre-fatigue. So I always like to start with a fly, and I like to pre-fatigue the upper chest first. So I would tell you to prioritize training upper chest, typically doing 2 working sets per exercise. I like to do about 4 to 5 exercises for chest on my push day. Typically I would start with a fly, do 2 pressing movements. I would do a free weight pressing movement of some sort on an incline, and then I would shift to the machines to really overload the muscles more. Then I would go to the end of the workout, I would do another fly variation, and then I would also layer in some dips for chest. I like to take those dips to failure, keeping the reps higher and just flushing as much blood into the muscle as I can. And then if you're trying to prioritize any muscle group, I think you need to train it twice a week. So I would add it into your program twice a week, and I think that should get you some progress.